we have a master, Mr. Pradeep, who is going to share the wisdom about understanding the ego. Thank you, Pradeep.
Thank you, Shalini. Namaste, everyone. Please drink some water. It's a good practice to drink water after meditation. Drink some water, stretch yourself.
And for whomsoever possible, please switch on your video. It would be really helpful for the communication.
Okay, so today is an interesting topic. Again, we have to understand and remind ourselves that we are in a self-transformation series. We are transforming ourselves into a better version. In other words, we are in the path of enlightenment. So in this season, we have started the foundation, the focus of understanding what is enlightenment and what are the principles we need to have in our life, the ethics, the principles we need to have in our life, and what should be our attitude every day, like in our day-to-day affairs, how we should handle the things, yamas and niyamas we have seen from Patanjali. So when you are in the path of spirituality, what happens? When you are trying to enlighten yourself, in other words, when you are trying to come out of the darkness, what happens? You want to come out of the suffering and you want to be in joy, in happiness. What happens in this process? You are educating your ego. You understand, you identify, yes, this is my ego. I need to educate it. It is because of my ego I'm suffering. So I have to let go of the ego. Enlightenment simply means you are no more in the ego. Your ego is finished. If you are no more suffering, that simply means your ego is finished. Your ego is transcended. Your ego is fully enlightened. So that's a very interesting subject. So let me share the slides and I'll go through this presentation. And we will later on understand with a lot of question and answers. We'll integrate more and more about it. We will keep it to simple and straight. Ego. So what is ego? There's a great book, Thinking and Destiny, by Harold W. Percival. Everybody should read this book. If you can able to read this book and understand this book, then you are an enlightened person. This author, he took 30 years to write this book. 30 years of his life experiment, of his life research.
So I think there's some technical glitch which happened from Mr. Pradeep. So by then, as you all know, we also have the Telegram group. I hope every one of you have already joined in that. So any questions or if you want to share your experience, please feel free to post in the group. So one person's experience will obviously help us to understand the experience of others too. And you all know Pyramid Valley has been organizing a lot of spiritual sessions. And this weekend we are having Signs of Happiness, which is a 2-day program by Ananthi Vijay, who is into meditation for the past 10 years and also a great support in the literature department of Pyramid Valley. So she will be talking about the happiness analysis, the levels of analysis of how to be happy, and the self introspection, becoming fearless, and the gratitude towards our life. So whatever we are is a platform what we should be happy for. Rather, we're always pondering for something what we don't have. So let us take an opportunity to come visit Pyramid Valley and take part in such sessions. I'm also glad I see a lot of members who have been part of the previous events and in this 21-day program too. And you also know that we have Brahmarshi Patriji's Enlightenment Hour every Friday. So in this last Friday, we are planning to get Patriji to our session. So hopefully that would be happening, and you can all share your experience or ask a question to the Grandmaster himself. So these are the updates from Pyramid Valley, and the last weekend, which is March last weekend, 26th and 27th, we are having a Chariot Card Wisdom by Purnima Rajan. So that is another good subject where you can learn about the frequencies and your life connections, everything. As you all know, Pyramid Spiritual Society's movement is been emphasizing about the importance of full moon. So this Friday we are having full moon meditation, and we'll be having the live 3 hours meditation. We will be sharing the link of that music meditation so you all can join for that. So I think Pradeep has come back. Over to you, Pradeep.
Okay, Shalini, thanks for filling in that gap. Okay, so until where you heard? As I was going on, I didn't realize the connection was disconnected. So until where we covered, Shalini? What I was speaking, what were the last sentences you heard?
Yes, about the Harold Percival, 30 years he was writing, right?
So this author took 30 years to write the book, another 10 years to do the corrections, and another 3 to 4 years to put it in a book shape. So 44 years of great research. Everybody should read this book. And if you're able to read and understand this book and integrate into your day-to-day life, you are already enlightened. As simple as that. So according to the book, the definition is very precise. Ego is the feeling of the identity of the I of the human. So how we have to understand this, ego is nothing but our identity. What identity we have self-created for ourselves. All identities are self-created. So what identity you have created for yourself and how you feel about it, that is nothing but your ego. So fundamentally, ego is your feeling. Ego is your feeling of your own self-created identity. And now this identity is a false identity. Whatever the identity we have created for ourselves is completely false. The truth is, we are pure consciousness, we are pure Atma. But we have created a lot of identities for ourselves. And how we feel about it. Are we feeling good about it? Are we feeling proud about it, of our own identity? Or we are feeling a little low? So this rises to inferiority and superiority complexes. So if you are having a superiority complex, that leads to arrogance. If you are having inferiority complex, that leads to ignorance. That means you are ignorant. You think yourself of very low. You think yourself, I'm not capable of enlightenment. Not in this lifetime. Because you need to be a avatar for that. You need to be a yoga purusha for that. Only people like Patriji, only people like Buddha, only people like Jesus, only they can get enlightened. We are normal people. So this is, you are ignorant. This is a low self-esteem. We are all gods. Anybody can do anything. A statement from Jesus Christ. When somebody asks Jesus Christ, hey Jesus, who are you? People say you are a great healer. People say you do great miracles. Who are you? The statement of Jesus Christ. There are 3 statements. The first is, I am the Son of God. The second, you and me are the same. The third, far more enlightening statement, you can do far greater things than me. That is absolute truth he has spoken. Even though Jesus Christ was in the pinnacle, there is, as such, practically nobody can do better than him. He was already in the highly enlightened consciousness. But he has to speak the truth, that anybody can do anything greater than anybody. Nobody is less, nobody is more. We are all one. He said, I'm Son of God. The truth. We are all gods. We are all speck of the Paramatma. The Atma is the son of Paramatma. So Jesus Christ had the right identity. His identity is, I am the son of God. No other identity. So when you are able to see everyone no greater than you or no less than you, that means you are in the truth. This feeling, this inferiority complex, we create that own feeling. We have a certain identity and what we feel about that identity. See, the identity is self-created. And your feeling about that identity is also from you. And then you get your ego hurt. Somebody can easily damage your own feelings. And your feelings are, the feelings are vibration, frequency, waves. So what you feel, the others also can feel. And naturally, if you are feeling victimized, everybody will make you feel more victimized. So frequency attracts frequency. Naturally, what happens in this course of action? What all you feel about yourself will be constantly going through a lot of damage by the surroundings, by the environment, by others. So you feel hurt. So sometimes we say, my ego is hurt. What does that mean? My ego is hurt. When you say my ego is hurt, that means what you felt about yourself is not acknowledged by another person. So then you feel hurt. So very simple, my dear friends. Ego is nothing but what you feel about your own self-created identity. And how did the ego arise in the first place? At what point of time the ego came in? Because when we are son of God, when we are Atma, and we are part of Paramatma, so when did it arise? In our childhood. Every child is so complete. Every child is connected with the source. Until the age of 5, the child is always connected to the source. That's why we say until the age of 5, the child doesn't need meditation. Because the child is always connected to the source. The child is always in awareness. The child doesn't have any identities. The child knows itself as pure consciousness. There's only pure innocence. The child is authentic. When the authenticity is not there, then the ego sweeps in. So when does the authenticity go away? When there is a lot of conditioning from the parents. Don't do this, don't do that. You cannot do this. So the child cannot be authentic by itself. The child has to follow the parents and environment. The child has to behave in a certain way, which is not natural, which is not authentic. So the child starts feeling empty because it cannot be itself. So when there is a lot of emptiness, there is a lot of pain, suffering, the child goes through pain. When the child cannot be authentic, the child goes through pain. When there is pain and suffering, a lot of emptiness inside, then the child wants to protect itself. So a lot of false identities it starts creating. It starts behaving in a certain way to get the approval of the parents. So that's when the ego sweeps in. The child might grow up, suppose the child is grown in a very healthy environment, in a very loving environment, where the parents let the child to be itself, where there is no conditioning, and the child doesn't feel empty. Then what happens? The child grows up into with a person of healthy ego. So again, when we are discussing about ego, we have to understand ego is neither good nor bad. Ego is neither good nor bad. Ego is necessary for our soul evolution. Ego is very much necessary. You see, in the beginning stages, when you are an infant soul, baby soul, young soul, mature soul, when you are in the beginning stages, you need ego. Ego is necessary for your evolution. If you don't trust in yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have a self-esteem, then you cannot manifest anything, whatever you want. So when you start using your ego, when you start using your identities for your own evolution in the beginning stages. But when the soul starts maturing, so that means when the soul wants truth, when the soul wants enlightenment, then the soul starts reflecting upon its own identities, and slowly, one by one, layer by layer, the soul drops the identities. So it is the game of forgetting and remembering. So we should not judge the ego as something bad. Ego is part of us. Everybody has ego. Everybody has ego. But whether your ego is educated or not, that is the question. Whether your ego is enlightened or not, that is the question. If your ego is educated or enlightened, that means you are a happy person. You are no more stuck in false identities and false beliefs of your own self. So then, if your ego is educated, then you are a happy person. You have a very healthy self-esteem. You see everybody as equal. No inferiority, no superiority complexes. So ego is something very much necessary for our evolution. But whether we are stuck in our ego or not, whether our ego is educated or not, whether our ego is enlightened or not, that is the question. An unhealthy ego, or in other words, we can call it as a personality. Persona means masks. Personality is what all the masks you have put around, what all the identities you have put around, and how you feel about it. So that is nothing but your personality. An unhealthy ego always seeks approval from others because they feel so empty inside. They cannot connect to their true self. They cannot experience their own inner light. They are incomplete. So they always seek approval, validation, acceptance, love from others. They're always in that. And in the process of seeking approval, acceptance, love, they do many, many things which they don't want to do. And again, the suffering starts. When you do something which you don't want to do, if you do something only for the sake of approval, then there is certain expectations. When you do something so that others can love you, others can validate you, then with that act comes expectations, because you are doing certain things out of expectations. And every expectations leads to frustrations, suffering. An unhealthy ego always is in the suffering. If the ego is vulnerable to the outside influences and beliefs, that means the ego is not educated. There are two types of ego, as we discussed: the ego of inferiority complex and the ego of superiority complex. The whole of the humanity is stuck in this inferiority complex and superiority complex. Inferiority complex are the people who are ignorant. They don't know their true potential. They're very much ignorant about their true identity. And people who are having superiority complex, they are stuck in their arrogance. They think they know everything. They think they are great people. They think they are better than others. So they are having superiority complex. So both inferiority complex people and superiority complex people, they both suffer. So whenever you are separate from the source, whenever you feel separation, when you don't feel that you are God, you are part of God, so then there is a separation. And the separation leads to having a lot of masks, identities, and feelings about that. So what you feel, again and again we repeat, what you feel about your own self-created identity, that is ego. And the ego would like to feel special, unique. That is the very nature of the ego. The ego always likes to feel unique and separate and special. And with that separation comes all the pain. You are far away from the truth. The truth is we are all interconnected. We are all the same. We are all one. That is the truth. But the ego likes separation because it has created a lot of masks. It has created a lot of barriers, layers and layers of identities. I am that, I am this. Then you are naturally separated from the truth. You are so much engrossed in your false identity, then naturally you feel that I'm a very special person, or I'm a very inferior person, or I'm a very superior person. That leads to suffering. Why that leads to suffering? Because you start feeling certain things about it, and that feelings are not acknowledged by others, not recognized by others. Then there is a conflict. Then there is suffering. Then you say, my ego is hurt. Okay. So this false I, what are the false I? Some of the examples we will see. Some people, they identify with their profession, with their educational qualifications. Okay. I'm a great scientist. I'm a great engineer. I studied from IIT. I studied from IIM. Know what education background I have? You know what position I am in? I am the vice president of this company. I am the CEO of the company. I am this. So they have this false identity. I am the CEO of this company. But what is the truth? The truth is you are pure consciousness and you are playing the role of a CEO, but you are not that. You have taken a role and you are playing the role of a vice president. You have taken the role of a CEO. That's it. You are not that. And people also get identified with the social roles. I am a mother of 2 children, 3 children, and both my children are doing very well in their studies. So they feel proud that I am the mother of 2 beautiful children, and or I am the grandmother of so many children. You know how many activities I am doing at home. I have to take care of my children. I have to take care of my husband. I have to take care of my grandchildren. So again, that is a false identity. So with that identity, they feel complete. They feel there is a false identity, and the feeling of that false identity is they feel somewhat great about it. And the same mother, they do a lot of activities to please their husband, to please their children, to please their family members. And if the family members doesn't acknowledge it, they are sad. They say, I've done so much, but nobody acknowledges me. Nobody validates me. Right? Again, that's a false I. And some people, they get identified with anything that makes the ego feel good. Whatever, anything and everything which makes the ego feel good, they get identified with it more and more. For example, you are a musician or you have certain skills, then the ego would very much like to get identified with it. I'm a great musician. I'm a great sports player. The problem is you identify with that and you feel great about it. That's when you are stuck in the ego. And accomplishments. People chase for accomplishments. Okay, I want to accomplish this. I want to accomplish that. I want to manifest this. I want into accomplishments. Because the ego feels good about it. Because the more you accomplish, the more you get prizes, the more people will appreciate you. The people will validate you. People will acknowledge you. Then the ego feels good. Women tend to get into this trap quite often. The woman starts feeling like, I'm a beautiful person. I'm the most beautiful person. They start getting identified with that. Physical looks. Again, you are not that. You are not the body. You have taken this body, but you are not that body. That is the truth. But they identify with their body. They are in the false I. So your true identity is you are a pure consciousness. You are pure energy. You are pure Atma. We're all fundamentally consciousness. That is the true identity. But the false identity creates ego. And some people, they have a certain belief system, that they are on a mission to the planet Earth. They are the healer of the planet Earth. Some people say, let us all meditate together. We need to heal the planet Earth. So they have created an identity that they have taken this birth on a mission. They are here to heal the planet Earth. That's again a false identity. Because your ego feels good that I'm doing a great thing. That what is that? What we call spiritual ego. Spiritual ego means you think you know everything. And you think you are a great person. You think you are on a mission. You think you are special. You know everything. So that again creates false identities. And you feel great about it. You feel You know who am I? I am already enlightened. In my past life only I am enlightened. I can able to speak to angels. I can communicate with star beings. I can change the energy around. You feel good about it. You feel good about these identities you have. I am a great healer. All this is nothing but your own self-created identity. Again, we discussed, is the ego good or bad? Ego is a learning tool. It's neither good nor bad. It's simply a learning tool to transcend. You use the ego to transcend in the beginning stages of your soul evolution. See, when the child feels empty inside, when the child is disconnected from the source, when the child cannot be authentic by itself, then a lot of fear, a lot of survival issues, a lot of guilt, a lot of emotions, they are stuck with that. That's we've seen. So the first chakra and the second chakra is totally out of balance. So when the first chakra and the second chakra is out of balance, then it impacts your third chakra. You feel inferior, you feel superior, you have a lot of identities, you have a lot of masks. So you are stuck in the ego. That's the third chakra. You are no more, you cannot go. When you are stuck in the third chakra, you cannot transcend to the fourth chakra, which is your heart chakra. So in the beginning stages of the evolution, everybody has to go through, everybody uses the ego to reach a certain level of evolution. But once you become a mature soul, once you're graduating to your old soul, you want to come back to your heart space. You said, enough is enough. I have suffered. I have taken so many lifetimes and there is a lot of suffering. Enough is enough. I want to live a peaceful life. I want to live a happy life. When that desire comes, that I want to live a peaceful life, I want to live a happy life, then you start coming back to your heart space. Then you start letting go of your ego. You start letting go of all the identities one by one, layer by layer, layer by layer. Then you are educating your ego. You are enlightening your ego. Okay. So that is your true I. When you more and more you start educating your ego, more and more you come out of the false identity and come closer into the true identity. So it is intertwined. The quest, your deeper quest for truth, your deeper quest to be happy, to celebrate your life, that leads to you start working on your ego. You start educating your ego. If that quest is not there, then you are simply comfortable with your own identities. You are simply comfortable with what you are feeling. You know, the politician feels he's the great person, he is the chief minister, he is the MLA, he is the prime minister. And then he is very comfortable about it. Everybody is praising him, everybody is clapping him, everybody is bowing down to him. He is happy in his own feelings and everybody is acknowledging that feelings. So then he doesn't have the desire to work on his ego. So in the beginning stages, you need ego as a tool to see that what the soul can accomplish, what the soul can reflect upon, what are the capabilities. So you use your ego in the beginning stages. But later on, when the desire comes to know the truth, then you start working on it. Until that stage, nobody is bothered about the ego. They are very comfortable with what they feel. So now if you might ask the question, okay, Swamiji, now we know we are in the self-transformation series. We have come here, we logged in this session. So because we have the real quest to know the truth, what can we do? We know that we are having a lot of ego. What can we do? We know that our ego is not enlightened. What should we do? First, you have to meditate more. You have to meditate sincerely. You have to meditate every day, regularly, seriously. The more and more you meditate, the more you connect to the breath, the more your mind is empty, the more you are connected to yourself, your Atma. It's your mind which creates these false identities. Your mind believes in these false identities. The more and more you empty your mind, the more and more you start connecting to yourself, and the more you come out of the inferiority complex. The statistics is majority of the humanity is stuck in the inferiority complex. more than 90% are stuck in the inferiority complex. Only around 10% people are stuck in the superiority complex. So the more and more you do meditation, the more you come out of the inferiority complex. You start connecting to your true I. You start coming out of all your ignorance. So that is the first step, meditation. And the more and more you read books, all books of all enlightened masters, Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means self-study. The more you study about other masters, the more you understand about yourself. And the more you listen to others' experiences, then it helps you to come out of the superiority complex. You might be a great meditator and you might feel very great about it. You have third experiences, you have astral travel, you have accomplished that, you have accomplished this. You have built a big pyramid and you have built a big meditation center and you're feeling so great about it. But when you listen to others' experiences, when you listen to a poor farmer from a village, he has with almost difficult to make the ends meet. So that person, he has went to villages and villages. He has taught meditation to thousands of people and he has helped them become vegetarian. And he collected some donation money and he has built the pyramid. When you see that, when you listen to that experience, when you listen to others' experiences, then your ego comes to rock bottom. You come out of the superiority complex. In your meditation, you will see a lot of third eye images and you will see these angels, that angels, and you feel great about it. But when you listen to others, they are also having wonderful experiences. Then you feel, okay, I'm not the only one. I'm not special. Anybody who meditates have great experiences. So listening to others' experiences, learning from others' experiences helps you to come out of the superiority complex. So when you're out of the inferiority complex and superiority complex, that means your ego is enlightened. You're educated your ego. So when you're out of the inferiority and superiority complex, then you are no more in ignorance. You are no more arrogant. Now, in this soul journey, in this soul evolution, I think in the previous session we have covered about it in detail. We take incarnation, we go through 3 deaths. The first, we have 7 bodies. First, we come to planet Earth from the causal worlds, and we go through the first death, the astral, then we go to the astral worlds in the astral body, then we go to the mental worlds in the mental body. Then finally, we go back to the causal plane. Now, on the earth plane, while we are in the physical body, there is identity, there is ego. Then when we are in the astral plane, then there is identity. In the mental plane also, there is identity. So on the physical plane, on the astral plane, on the mental plane, there is ego. But when you go to the causal plane, there is no ego. Because causal plane is our true self. There is only pure consciousness there. So there is no ego. So for a normal person, they go through from earth, from physical plane to astral plane, from astral plane to mental plane. And then they go to the causal. From causal, they again come back to the earth as in a new incarnation, that is reincarnation. But when you start working on your ego, when you start educating your ego, when you are transcending your ego, then you are a transcendental soul. So then you transcend to supracausal worlds. From supracausal worlds, then you come back to earth as a bodhisattva, where you are educating yourself and you are teaching others also. You come back as a teacher to help the humanity come out of the suffering. So ego exists in the physical, astral, and the mental planes. But if you are able to educate your ego and let go of all your false identities, then you are eligible to go to supracausal worlds. So the final conclusion. Ego knows itself as a feeling. And ego is neither good nor bad. Ego needs to be educated. Ego needs to be enlightened. It's a very interesting topic, very beautiful topic, something very deeper. You cannot just like that understand. It takes lifetimes. It takes lifetimes to let go of your ego, layers by layers by layers. I'll give you some examples. I know you have many questions regarding it, but you please write down all your questions and we'll take the questions tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll discuss in little more detail and fine-tune our understanding of ego. But today, please write down what all the questions you want to write down, and tomorrow we'll discuss about it. I'll give you some examples. Since we're all whole souls, okay, we are no more interested in the identities of the physical achievements. If you are in the self-transformation series, that means you are no more interested in physical things, materialistic things. That much I'm sure. If you're attending my session, that means you're of my frequency. Frequency attracts frequency. The birds of the same feathers flock together. Everybody in this session, I know they are interested in enlightenment. They are interested to be a better version of themselves. They are the seekers of the truth. How I know? Because I am the same. I am that. If you are attracted towards my session, that means we both are the same. Birds of the same feathers flock together. So I know you're all seeking enlightenment. So you are no more interested in manifesting the houses and physical things, and you are least bothered about it. Your only thing is you want enlightenment. Now, so we are no more stuck with the identities, the physical achievements, and all the prapanchik. You are no more interested. So now we are stuck in the spiritual ego. So that is what we have to work on it. I'll give some examples how the ego is. Ego is nothing but your feeling, what you feel about yourself. And ego always likes separation. It always likes to feel special, to be separate. I'm different. I'm a little different from others. I'll give you my own example of how I overcame, how I started reflecting. See, in the beginning days, people, as you're teaching meditation in your spiritual journey, people say, wow, you are a great master. You have traveled to so many countries and you traveled to more than 30 countries and you have taught meditation to so many people. You feel special. You feel good. When somebody praises you, you feel good. And the next time when I'm introducing myself, so I say, I traveled so many countries. I taught so many people because I feel good about it. I feel special. I have achieved so much. And even if somebody is asking, hey, what are you doing now? It's lockdown. What are you doing? I'm doing 4 Zoom sessions every day. I'm doing in different languages. I'm so busy. You identify with it. You are identified with that. You are identified with what you are doing. You are identified with all those things. And you feel special about it. You certainly feel great about it. So that means you are stuck there. Able to do the work in a non-detachment without any expectations. That means you are not in ego. You are just seeing the role. Whatever the role you are playing, whatever the work you are doing, you are just simply doing it without any expectations. This is what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. Do the work, but don't expect the results. You simply do the work. This is Karma Yoga. In the Karma Yoga, there are 2 stages. I think in the previous session, we discussed in detail about it. Please go to the previous session, Self-Transformation Season 1, on the topic of Yoga Parampara. We have discussed in detail. Everybody have to understand Yoga Parampara. So in the Yoga Parampara, the first is Karma Yoga Part 1. And the final stages of enlightenment, then there is Karma Yoga Part 2. So in the Karma Yoga Part 1, you do certain things, but you have a lot of expectations. You do a lot of service, but there is a lot of expectations. But in Karma Yoga Part 2, you do only spiritual service, but there is no expectations. You are a pure witness. You are a witness. You are not identified with your work. And there is no expectations of whatever you do. You are simply doing the work because you feel joy in your heart. You don't do the work feeling I'm on a mission. You don't do the work feeling like I have come from another galaxy, I have come from intergalactic federation. I've taken this birth so that I can do service, so that I can educate the planet Earth. I'm a great healer. I'm an angelic worker. I'm a star being. I'm a star seed. All those will not be there. You'll simply feel I'm pure consciousness. Everybody is consciousness. I'm part of God. Everybody is part of God. Nobody is less than anybody. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm simply playing this role. I got this opportunity to do this, to teach meditation. And teaching meditation gives me joy. And I'm doing it for my joy. When I'm teaching meditation, I feel complete. So I'm teaching meditation. No expectations. So the more and more you are in that space of no expectations from whatever the work you are doing, you are a real karma yogi. You are an enlightened person. So while people are stuck in the ego, when we come into the spiritual path, we get stuck in the spiritual ego. Also, the spiritual ego says, hey, you can do it fast. You are more capable. Then you look for shortcuts. You look for shortcuts in the spiritual path. Okay, there is a very expensive program, a retreat, activation, DNA activation, or Kundalini activation, or karma clearing. You go to that retreat and say, okay, I want to quickly let go of all my karma. I have to quickly activate my Kundalini. I have to activate my third eye. And you look for shortcuts. And the more and more you're looking for shortcuts in your spiritual journey, the more and more you are stuck in your spiritual ego. There is no shortcut. You have to understand, in the path of enlightenment, the destination is not important. It is the journey which is important. Let it take as much time as it wants. Let it take many months. Let it take many years. Let it take many lifetimes. Who cares? I will be in the path. And while I'm in this true path, meditating, working on myself, letting go of my ego, making myself a better version, slow and steady. I'll make myself slow and steady. And slowly I learn and I perfect myself. And I'm not bothered about the destination, but I'm enjoying this journey. Every day I'm working on myself. Every day the layer of ego is going away. I'm feeling more complete. I'm feeling more joyful. I'm no more affected by others' opinions. I'm no more affected by whether others acknowledge me or not. I'm no more affected. I'm more complete within. I have a lot of freedom. That is the real freedom. So when you are able to work on it slow and steady, then you are out of the spiritual ego naturally. It's a very interesting subject. And also, in the many years ago, I used to also feel very special, because when the star beings are coming and communicating to you, when they say you are part of the great federation and they're given a very special crystal as a gift, naturally you will feel special, because you are in contact with extraterrestrials and they come and tell you are already enlightened in your past life. You naturally feel good. You naturally feel special. I also went through that journey and I have to let go of it. Again, the same star beings came to me to break my identities, to let go of my spiritual ego. So when you are sincere in your path, then the help comes to you on its own without you expecting. Because frequency attracts frequency. You are a sincere student, then all the astral masters, they want to come to you because your sincerity, the frequency is very high. You are pure. You want enlightenment. So that frequency attracts all the masters towards you to help you. Okay. And later on, when there is big gatherings, like whenever I come to India and attend this Dhyana Chakrams and Buddha Purnima, see, most of my work is overseas. And when I travel overseas, they receive me, they welcome me, they take care of me like a master. They come to the airports, they receive me, and they make sure my accommodation is taken care. So I feel good about it. But when I come to India, when I attend any PSSM movement, here nobody cares. Here everybody is a master. Nobody gives you accommodation also. You have to struggle to find accommodation in that great events because there's limited accommodation. So your ego feels bad. In other countries, I'm taken care. I'm like a special invitee. Everybody is waiting for my visit. But here, nobody cares. Everybody is a master. So my spiritual ego is a little bit, I'm not feeling comfortable with that feeling in the beginning days. Then I have to consciously let go. Okay, why am I not feeling in the comfortable? I'm not feeling comfortable because nobody's acknowledging me. Nobody is validating me. I'm feeling special about myself, but others are not validating that. Others are not reflecting that me feeling special. So you feel hurt. Then I say, okay, I better don't go to those events. I have better things to do. So this is how the ego works. Right. So friends, it is very, very important. We all have ego. Everybody has ego. And ego is not something bad. Ego was necessary for you to reach until this stage. But now, if you are seeking enlightenment, you don't need it. You have to let go of it. When you let go of it, then you are in truth. On this note, thank you very much. Tomorrow we'll integrate further. Namaste to all of you.
Thank you, Pradeep. It was a wonderful example, especially from your own life. Yes, dear friends, ego should be in a right way to step up our own self, to make the better version of our own self. So it was very much clear how it can affect or take us to the different path.